What would you do if your own children, your flesh and blood, mocked your death, not with sorrow? But what would you do if your own children, your flesh and blood, mocked your death, not with sorrow, but with greedy anticipation? What if the very people you raised and loved were just waiting for you to die, forever so they could cash in? Well, one old man didn't just cry about it. He built a town and changed lives forever. If you've ever dreamed of serving justice to someone who wronged you, if you've ever wanted to turn pain into power, then hit that like button, subscribe, and settle in. Because what you're about to hear is not just a story, it's a transformation. A journey from betrayal to legacy. Far from the noise of the city, nestled among sprawling fields of green, stood an old farmhouse. It wasn't fancy. The paint had peeled, the wood creaked, and the metal roof groaned with every gust of wind. But for David, this wasn't just a house, it was his world. David, a man in his late 70s, had lived here for decades. His beard was white as snow, and his hands were callous proof of a life spent working the land. Beside him, always, was Duffy, his golden retriever with eyes full of loyalty. And in the background, quietly running the household, was Jimmy, David's servant and friend for the past 20 years. Life was slow, quiet, but lonely, especially since his wife, Rose, had passed away. David owned acres upon acres of fertile land, most of which surrounded a highway that connected rural villages to the bustling city. He had 2 sons, Brock and Harry, both of whom had left the farm behind for city life, corporate suits, and air-conditioned boardrooms they hadn't visited in months. But whenever they did come, it wasn't for love, it was for his signature on a bank check or a property document. David knew this. And yet, a father's heart forgives. One rainy evening, as thunder echoed in the distance, David sat in his old armchair, staring at an untouched dinner plate. Duffy rested his head on David's knee. "I miss them," David whispered, more to himself than the dog. The next morning, he made a decision. He would go see his sons in the city. Maybe surprise them. Maybe again, just maybe feel like a father again. He drove his rusted car for hours. When he reached the city, he went first to Brock's home. The gate was open. He entered quietly. Inside, he heard laughter, but what he heard next shattered him. "Dad's so stubborn," Brock chuckled. "Watch him live to 100. We'll be stuck waiting forever to sell that damn land." Harry's voice followed. "I've already found a buyer for my half. Once the old man kicks it, we're set." David's heart clenched. The room spun. Without saying a word, he turned around and left. No one even noticed he had been there. That night, back in his cold farmhouse, David lay in bed, silently crying. Duffy rested near his feet, sensing the pain. In his sleep, he dreamt of Rose. She appeared in soft light, her face calm, her voice gentle. "David, why are you crying?" He told her everything, the visit, the betrayal, the unbearable ache in his chest. Rose smiled, a knowing, comforting smile. "Tomorrow, take Duffy and go on a journey. Don't ask where. Just go. That journey will show you your purpose." When he awoke, her voice still echoed in his ears. He packed a bag, grabbed some food, took Duffy, and left. The road was long, quiet. The skies turned dark by afternoon. A storm brewed. Heavy rain fell, and the wind howled. Suddenly, the car stopped. The engine sputtered and died, stranded, middle of nowhere. David and Duffy spent the entire night in the broken car, cold, wet, starving. That night, he understood what true helplessness felt like. The next morning, a stranger helped him push the car. It didn't start. So David walked muddy, drenched with Duffy trotting loyally by his side. Eventually, someone gave them a ride back to the farmhouse. That night, again, Rose appeared in his dream. "You wanted a purpose. Now you have it. You felt what thousands feel every night: cold, hunger, helplessness. You have the power to change that. David woke up crying, but this time they were tears of clarity. He contacted a real estate agent, sold half his land near the highway, made millions. His first act. He gave Jimmy 4 acres of land and enough money to build a home. Then David and Duffy began something extraordinary. They opened the gates of the farmhouse to the homeless. They built shelters. They gave people jobs on the land. They helped others build homes. Soon, a village started to rise. Word reached Brock and Harry. Furious, they came storming into the farmhouse. "You're giving our inheritance away?" Brock shouted, "This is our land." Harry barked. David remained calm. "You want the rest of the land? Fine. Bring 100 needy elders to the old age home I've built here. Help them for a month. Then we'll talk." They didn't care about charity. They cared about the deal. So they agreed. Over that month, something changed. The brothers began to feel emotions, guilt, warmth, humanity. They laughed with the elders, listened to stories, helped fix roofs, carried groceries. At the end of the month, David gave them the land. They went back to the city, threw a party, but something felt empty. Brock asked, "Why do you look sad?" Harry replied, "Because you look sad too." They both smiled and understood. That very night, they returned to the farmhouse with their families. They hugged David, cried, and apologized. "We want to live here, help you continue your mission." David, overwhelmed, embraced them. Soon, they sold their city homes and built a large house near the orchard. Together, the family expanded the village. They built roads, schools, clinics. The government even stepped in to support the initiative. Years passed. David aged further, but he smiled more. One morning, he stood on a hill with Duffy beside him. Below, where once lay barren land, now stood a thriving town full of life, laughter, and love. His sons ran the foundation. His grandchildren played with the village kids. In every home there was a symbol of a second chance. Pain can break you or build you. For David, it lit a fire that created something beautiful. His story is a reminder: when life shoves you down, don't stay there. Get up. Build something that will outlive your pain. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories of justice, kindness, and transformation. And tell us in the comments, what is one act of kindness you've witnessed or received that changed your life? Until next time, keep spreading the light.